Froggers, it's JJ the Frog Girl here, and today we are talking about sick frogs. At some point, if you have a lot of frogs, you're going to end up with one that might be sick. It could be a fungal infection, a bacterial infection. Maybe your frog is dehydrated. Maybe you got a frog that was shipped to you and it's got some nose rubs, so it's got some wounds that need to be taken care of. Well, today I'm going to talk about some things that you can do that will hopefully take care of those issues. Now, I'm not a veterinarian, and I'm certainly not saying don't take your frog to a veterinarian. The challenge that we run into a lot of times with vets is that they don't have the experience or the knowledge to treat amphibians and other delicate exotic species. So these are some things that I have picked up over the years through friends like Michael Novi, very good friend of mine. He's been in the business for, 30 years, and he's helped me out a lot with some of this stuff. Other things I researched myself, tweaked a little bit, and these are just things that I've come up with that work very well for me. So thanks for watching, and I hope you find this helpful. So if you have a frog that is severely dehydrated, maybe it's not shedding its skin properly, which, by the way, frogs do shed their skin every single day. So if you have one, you've noticed that maybe there's skin sticking to it. Maybe it's a frog that's just been shipped from someplace and it's just dehydrated. This is something that you can do that will help the frog recover more quickly. It's called amphibian ringers. Now, my recipe for amphibian ringers is sodium chloride, 4 teaspoons of that, a 1/4 teaspoon of calcium chloride, a 1/4 teaspoon of potassium chloride, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. You'll take all of that, mix it with 1 gallon of dechlorinated tap water. And then you can soak your frog for anywhere from 20 minutes all the way up to 40 minutes, depending on how severe the dehydration is. You'll want to do this for about 4 days. And the way you'll do this, you'll use a dish, a plastic dish, something like this. It can be any size, really, depending on the size of your frog. Maybe you'll have more than one frog that you need to soak. Make sure that you have holes in the top, because you don't want your frog to suffocate. And you don't need a lot of solution in there. Frogs absorb through their skin, but they specifically have drinking pads on their bellies and on their inner thighs. So as long as those parts of the frog are submersed in the solution, your frog is going to get the benefit of that solution. So again, soak them for up to 4 days, 20 to 40 minutes depending on the severity. And then after that, you may also want to put some of the solution in their water dish so that they have that access to it anytime they need to. So if you have a frog that has a wound, now this happens a lot when frogs are being shipped. They get the nose rub. That's actually pretty common. Sometimes it can be really severe, other times not so much. There are ways that you can treat the wounds that are completely safe for your frog, and also they're going to speed up the healing process. These are items that you can find at Walmart, at your local drugstore. This Germ Shield by Curette, it actually has silver in it, and it is something that I have used. It works really well. Something else, Neosporin, and this is just the plain Jane Neosporin, nothing fancy to it, just the regular Neosporin. And you'll take a Q-tip, a clean Q-tip, apply it to the wounds, and you'll need to do that probably every day for a few days until you see that the wound has completely healed. With frogs, bacterial infections and fungal infections are actually pretty common, especially in the eyes. The reason is, if you've ever noticed, as your frog is walking across its enclosure, it is touching its eyes all the time. So all it takes is a little bit of the powder that you dusted your crickets with, them to step on that, they touch their eyes, next thing you know, you have a cloudy eye or some kind of a growth on the eye, and you need to be able to treat this quickly the moment you notice it. So the products that I use, erythromycin. This is something that I try to keep on hand if I can. You can find this at any local aquarium store. Something else that this is really my go-to is Canaplex. And Canaplex, it comes, if you open the box, you'll get this vial. And in the vial, there's actually a little scoop. And this is what I use probably more than anything. The erythromycin, if you take 1 packet, so they come in little packs like this. It's 1 packet per 1 liter of water. That's the mix. With the Canaplex, it is 1 level scoop per 12 ounces of water. So today I actually have some frogs that I'm going to be treating, so I can show you exactly how that's done. So I've got a container this size, and the reason is I have several frogs that I'm going to be treating. And this flap actually makes it a lot easier when you're going to be treating several to be able to put the frogs in easily. Okay, so I've got this solution ready for the frogs. The lid is pressed down very tightly. We do not want them to escape. Okay, so I'm treating Mexican waxy leaf frogs. I had a couple of these that had kind of a cloudy eye, and because they were all housed together, you're better off treating all of them rather than treating just the two that have it and then the others end up with the same problem. So I'm going to put them in here. See how easily they slide in having that little flap. Trust me, it will save you so much grief by doing that.
Because your husband's a genius.
Okay. Now those frogs will soak for 20 minutes, and I will soak them at least 7 days. More likely it's going to be 10. It could even be 14. It really depends on how quickly the eyes are cleared up. Now I usually like to keep them soaking for another 3 or 4 days after it's cleared up, just to make sure that there's nothing that's hanging around and they're going to be completely free of the eye infection. So once they've soaked for 20 minutes, they will actually go in a brand new tote. So this tote will be sterilized, clean. That means the water dish, the lid, everything in here needs to be sterile every single day after treatment until they are completely well. And then of course you can put them back into their bioactive environment or whatever enclosure that you're keeping them in. In a previous video I talked about prolapses and what you can do if your frog has one. So I'll be sure to put a link down below in the description so that you can look that up. Well, I hope that you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and happy frogging.